Over the last 6 months, I've been getting calls from nonprofits from around the nation who are facing challenges they never faced before. Hello, my name is Michael Randolph, and I work for the Center for Nonprofit and Community Development. Here's what we know when we talk about the state of nonprofits. 1 in 3 nonprofits lost government funding early in 2024. This is 2026. Those numbers are up. 28 plus thousand jobs were cut in 2025. That means a 409% increase compared to 2024. 37% of nonprofit operated in a deficit in 2024, the highest level in a decade. This year, 2026 will match those numbers. 29% affected nonprofits reduced staff, and 86% reported that inflation negatively impacted their operation. That's 267 billion that was cut from government, from nonprofits alone. When you compare that to other reduction in funding, including donors erosion, that means those individuals that get money, that number was down 1.3. Across the board, funding is down. So let me give a little bit of information about us. I started the Center for Nonprofit and Community Development in 2011. It was based on my experience and working in the nonprofit sector for over 35 years. Added to that, my lived experience in neighborhoods that is quote unquote called disenfranchised neighborhoods. That's another term I'm looking for in terms of neighborhood, poor neighborhoods, uh, marginalized neighborhoods, neighborhoods that have been depleted of our resources. What I've seen all those years when I was working, living in those neighborhoods, that organizations were coming in, but they was leaving nothing behind. And the only ones that benefited was those organizations. Way back then, I decided to learn the necessary skill set to come back in the neighborhood and use those skills to help rebuild the neighborhood. So since 1980, I worked in the nonprofit field. And then in 2011, I started the Center for Nonprofit and Community Development. This is a national organization. The mission is clear. We empower neighborhoods and communities through high quality technical assistance, organizational development, and community driven revitalization. I need to emphasize this. Most organizations come in a community and it's not resident driven, it's organizational driven. So we do have 3 primary focus areas. So of course we have more areas, but these are our 3 primary focus areas. One is organization development. As you know, funding is being reduced across the board for nonprofits. In addition to that, nonprofits are now required to adhere to a new standard. That new standard, which replaces DEI, is called merit, excellency, and intelligence. That's one of the focus that we teach nonprofits in this new environment. And we work with nonprofits from startup nonprofits, mom and pop nonprofits, to nonprofits that are actually functioning very well but want to expand their resources. So we support nonprofits and establish nonprofits and strengthening internal systems, leadership capacities, and program design and long sustainability. It is becoming a competitive, and I say this to all my clients from around the nation, a competitive field when it comes out to trying to get grants. It was competitive 2 years ago. It's beyond competitive now. That's why we focus on how do you operate in this environment. The other focus is neighborhood and economic development. So we design and implement community-based planning and economic development strategies that promotes revitalization, reduce poverty, and build local opportunity, and it's driven by the neighborhood. We like a consultant for the community when we come in. We work on your behalf. And the third focus area that I want to talk about is capacity building and best practice. We work, our work is grounded in a social entrepreneur model, enabling us to create scalable national models and best practice approach that help organizations thrive. As you know, it's becoming very competitive. If you do not have a best practice model that you created or that you want to emulate, the likelihood of getting those funding are even shorter. So what's our national impact? Our impact. Well, we've assisted over 3,500 nonprofits from around the nation. That assistance includes virtual training. And that training could be anywhere from how to start a nonprofit, how to do a business plan, and the list goes on. Over 15 different professional training courses that we give. The other is direct services that we provide to organizations in terms of working with them to design a business plan, a strategic plan, or some type of service they needed from us other than this the videos. We've helped and assisted over 350 plus nonprofits with the paperwork to establish their nonprofits. Prepared all the paperwork. And the way we prepared our paperwork and to make sure that when we focus on creating the nonprofit, we focus it on the language that the funders want to see in the document. They want to see the legal language, but the funders always also want to see that nonprofit purpose and that particular uh, uh, proposal that you wanted that in that particular document that you want to get. So in addition to that, we've had over 15 years impact. That number is really conservative. We started in 2000 and um, we started in 2011, but we went national 15 years ago, in which we spread it to over 37 states in which we currently operate in. Some of those states are listed below. It's across different time zones. The training we give is grassroots capacity building that can you use to up level your nonprofit, to grow your nonprofit. If you are an existing nonprofit, we give that training necessary to get you to where you need to get to. So let's talk about some of our training programs. Again, we try to cover the different types of training that is needed in this environment. I've never seen the environment that we're in now like it is now. We have to use a new school, next generation approach in order to go after those dollars. And the nonprofits that we've been working with, it's been working. Now, let's talk about our specialized services. One is grant development. So you bring us on board and we can actually put the grant proposal together for you. The other is grant workshops. Under these workshops, and these like 11 lesson workshop over a period of time, 6 weeks, we teach you actually how to write a grant. The other thing is business proposal. Every nonprofit should have a professional, bankable business plan. So we would actually prepare the business plan that will be professional enough to get people to take you very serious. In addition to that, workshop, we give we give a workshop on how to do a business proposal. And again, that's about a 6 week class. Both of these workshops can earn you money on the side because if you become good at writing grants and become good at doing business proposals, that's a side hustle. The other thing we do is community organizing, mobilizing, and community buy-in. So oftentimes the organization gets started, but yet they don't have that community buy-in. What we do when we come in, we make sure that from the bottom up, voices are being heard and being part of the master plan. Mapping access and community building is another tool set that we bring to the table. And that tool set includes community mapping or assets building. That is identifying what are the assets in the community and how can we build it. Instead of looking at it from a half glass, we look at it from a full glass. I mean, a half full glass instead of half empty glass. And then community building. Community building is beginning to put in place a strategy that leads to the village, taking it from the hood to the village as a mechanism to building strong, strong community building. Now, in addition to that, we provide training and strategic and tactical community planning. Because once you gather the information from the community, you got buy-in, now you have to create a strategic and tactical plan. Again, like the business proposal plan, this is a professional plan that you can really take and that funders will take you serious. Then 501c3 preparation and completing all of the client's reports. Earlier, we talked about the large number of nonprofits we work with across the nation and getting their nonprofits started. Now, the next skill set, which is important if you want to scale your organization up, is organizational and program development. These two skill sets will allow you to scale your organization up in order to increase your funding opportunity. Folks, I cannot stress enough, things are changing. And if you're a nonprofit now, I want you to understand that before the end of this year, it might be likely that you're not a nonprofit or a nonprofit that has been reduced in terms of funding. That's why we provide this training to change the narrative and prepare you for the new world that we live in. To help that, Our final skill set is community and economic development. You have to be able to have the tools with the tools to create a community-led infrastructure change in your neighborhood by way of a community and economic development initiative. Combined with this right here, we provide an array of different services for your nonprofits. Our prices are affordable and our prices are such that we can create a installment plan. At the end of the day, we do what we do because I understand that we all we got and we all we need. And unless we got the tool chest necessary, and the one thing I've observed, and I've seen nonprofits around the country, so many people that are trying to do so many good things, and they being blocked because they don't have the resources, and people won't tell them about the resources. Anywhere from the mother that lost her child from gun violence, and she's trying to find a program and create a program to remember her son and keep her strong, or the aunt that lost her brother to cancer, or the many other things in which people lives are being impacted. And the only way they know to fight back is to create a memory of that particular person or that particular cause. So we've helped nonprofits from around the nations, nonprofits, mom and pop nonprofits. There was only one person, no staff, to organizations that had 10, 15, 20 staff. Our objective is to change the narrative. Unlike no time before, there's a crisis right here in front of our eyes. Our approach is, first of all, evidence-based and data-driven. And second, is based on lived experience and working in the nonprofit sector and in living in some of the most disenfranchised neighborhoods in the nation.